Hi, Doug Hasty here, Down Earth Golf. This video is to explain a little more detail the pivot and a little bit of weight transfer. We're going to change that term, but that's what most people call it, so we'll start with that term. Start with the pivot first. Pivot just refers to our turn. Pretty important part of the golf swing. If I don't turn my body properly, then I'm probably not going to I'm going to have trouble generating speed, I'm going to have trouble with consistency, and I'm going to have trouble with balance, which kind of is consistency. So what is the pivot? Well, first of all, a pivot is just a turn. And what I want to talk about is what's the center of that turn? If I'm going to have a pivot, I need a center. Well, common sense would say it's the center of my body. Where that zipper is there, that would be the center. Unfortunately, that's not right. If that was the center, if this is the center of my swing, then when I turn, it's going to look like this. If this is my center right here, then that's what that turn's going to look like. And that is too much movement back. There's too much of my body weight, too much behind. Tough to get it back over the ball. Some people play good golf that way. Byron Nelson, some people would say, played that way, but I wouldn't recommend it. Good pivot for most people is going to center right around there. Right around, if you're rating a golf, for kind of your left breast. Okay? So there, I put that stick. If I drop that line down, that's kind of where this alignment stick is. If that's the center of my swing, or of my pivot, then that's what it looks like. My head doesn't move off the ball, stay very centered. But again, the center is here, it's not here. I know it's only a 2 or 3 inch difference, but it's important. Because if your center is here, there's some compensations you have to make to get back. I want your center to be here. Again, I'll show you that. Here's a good pivot. And one that's centered around here would look like this. You can see that little bit of head movement back. So let's try to avoid that. So that's a good pivot. Now in order to have a good pivot, you want to have good posture, you want to have that good neutral spine, and first of all, physically, can you do this? Can you turn your shoulders that way? You want to practice that. Will your hips turn? Of course they'll turn. They will follow your shoulder turn. And your knees might move. It's really tough just to turn your shoulders. I can't even, just to turn your shoulders and not your hips. That'd be tough. So let them turn. Don't try to restrict the hip turn. Don't try to restrict the knee movement. Let them move with your shoulder turn. That's the pivot. You want to work on that and work on that. Now just so you understand a little bit more about that. When you pivot properly, more pressure goes into your trail leg or your trail foot. So that means that foot has more pressure on it. Okay? Pressure is different from weight. Weight, if I'm standing here, I weigh about 200 pounds, okay? I've got 200 pounds of weight right now. But if I go like this, I put a lot more than 200 pounds of pressure into that ground. And when I swing the golf club, there's a lot more than 200 pounds of pressure going into that ground. That's how you generate speed. I don't want you to worry about too much, but I want you to know that there's a difference between pressure and weight. When you pivot, you want that pressure to remain on the inside of that foot. Don't let it go to the outside. Don't let this knee move back. Don't let the weight or the pressure go to the outside of that trail foot. Keep it on the inside. If you're going to throw a ball, you would never do this to throw a ball that direction. You would go here. You'd be putting more pressure into that foot, and you'd push off that back foot. Same thing in golf. Okay, this is not the golf swing is not that different from an underhanded throwing motion. Don't make it so different. Okay, so pivot back, pressure goes into here. As I transition, pressure goes into that lead foot. There would be maximum pressure under that lead foot, and then through. Now, I know you'll see some people jump off the ground. You'll see all kinds of different things happen here with their pressure. But just to keep things a little bit more simple, you pivot back, turn back, pressure goes on the inside of your trail foot. You transition, pressure goes on to that lead foot. If you want to get a little more specific, as you come around here, it goes into the heel. By the time you're in your finish, it goes into the heel of your lead foot. good pivot. Practice that. Even if you just do that first drill. The little hello there drill, Mr. Knudsen would call it. Body rotation drill, whatever you want to call it. So important to have good balance and to have that pressure working for you and not against you. Okay, so it's a little bit about the pivot. Quick review, pivot around here, not here. Don't let this trail leg move it all back. Don't let the pressure go to the outside of that back foot. Keep on the inside of that back foot. And let the pressure go on to your front foot. Good golfing.